Are live streams getting killed due to copyright rules? Will deliveries be the norm in a post-COVID world? How has the pandemic affected the culture of Instagram? We'll discuss these topics and more on the audio show at the intersection of marketing, media, tech, and popular culture. We call it Disruptive FM. Roll the title.
It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Geoffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Disruptive FM, number 67. I'm Geoffrey Colon, head of brand studio for Microsoft Advertising, coming to you from Seattle. Per usual, 3 fresh trending topics for you to consider, and we'll be joined by special guest Sarah Frier, tech reporter at Bloomberg, and author of the book No Filter, The Inside Story of Instagram. So let's jump in.
Here are this week's trending topics. We interrupt this live stream.
We're doing it live. Lately, we here at DFM have been tuning into DJ live streams across various social media platforms for some musical relief, to connect with friends, and in many cases, get a rare chance to hear sets from world-famous DJs spinning in their living rooms. And here's very often how that experience goes. Things start off great, but then the audio is silenced when a track from a major record label is blocked from being heard due to copyright laws. If you tune into a DJ's live stream, you're likely to see disclaimers trying to preempt a copyright takedown, which stops their stream suddenly, kicking both the streamer and the audience out to the homepage, sending the streamer a notice about copyright infringement, forcing them to start their stream over, and just generally killing the vibe. It's the modern-day digital equivalent of the fire marshal showing up at your nightclub saying there are too many people lined up outside, so everyone has to exit, even though you're within fire code restrictions. It's a buzzkill, and it reminds me that copyright and digital platforms haven't caught up in a time when we really need it to, so that DJs can keep us entertained while we enter almost 8 weeks of lockdown in some areas of the world. Of course, big celebrity DJs, well, they have no problem. They have the power to broker relationships with the platforms. And here we're primarily talking about Facebook and Instagram, who will foot the licensing bill on their behalf. This means that the rich are only getting richer within the internet, just like in the real world. But artists will do what artists need to do, especially as nightlife has been shut down and they have no paid gigs. In response to the takedowns, some artists are flipping the bird at Instagram and flocking to other platforms, like Twitch, which is more lenient with copyright enforcement. Still, there is no real difference in legality between a set on Zoom, Twitch, Instagram Live, or anywhere else. There's also no likely scenario in which Instagram announces publicly that it will ramp down copyright enforcement. So for now, the raids will continue until someone creates a true underground platform where people can go listen to live DJing. One that has copyrights all cleared. Maybe like a YouTube or a Spotify. We bet on something new. Just like in the 1990s when bedroom producers created a whole new movement out of their bedroom studio setups in the confines of the United Kingdom, which rose to prominence as the rave movement, maybe it's time for someone to start live stream raves on platforms that the authorities, in this case, the copyright holders, can't find. Where you need a secret code invite to enter the mainframe. And only those in the know can participate. A sort of Napster meets pirate radio for live streams. Maybe we'll all be messaging to one another this phrase upon entry. Top one, nice one, get sorted.
Trending topics on DFM. The all-delivery economy.
Last week, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said a phrase that is going to stick with me forever. Assessing the disruption of COVID on the corporate world, he noted that most businesses have undergone digital transformation, projects that would normally take 2 years in 2 months. He added that cloud infrastructure was helping customers, quoting, adapt and stay open for business in a world of remote everything, unquote. Remote everything. And because we are living and working at home 24/7, much of this digital transformation has led to what we at DFM are referring to as the all-delivery economy. We're seeing a huge rise in behavior to have things delivered to us that in the past we wouldn't think about delivering. While deliveries from restaurants have been a thing for years, food itself, groceries, were only a small fraction of the delivery market. Until this year, we're starting to even see a return of bygone things many of us thought were dead, like milkmen and people who deliver meat. Yes, you heard us correctly, meat. And dog food. Just don't confuse the two. Now Walmart is thinking of how to deliver groceries to you after you've ordered them in only 2 hours. And even the state of Michigan is offering free delivery of condoms during the lockdown. The state's health department has launched a new free condom delivery service to help prevent unwanted pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The Condoms by Mail program helps replace the free condom giveaways counties had once offered at now closed government buildings and bars, officials said. So this led us to ask this question, which we hope all of you will ponder. As we become a world where anything and everything is available for delivery to our doorsteps, what is it exactly that we'll do when we go out again if it's not shopping? Maybe we will rethink our role as consumers and remember that the best things in life come with free delivery.
Trending topics on DFM. No filter.
So obviously COVID and shelter in place has dramatically changed real life. But what about our digital lives? Our timelines and stories sure do look different now. What do you take pictures of if you're at home all the time? You can't talk about the late 2010s or the 2020s without bringing Instagram into the conversation. It has changed how we communicate the last several years, both for good and bad. It's changed business and tech. It's changed communications and culture. It's changed all of us. And that brings us to our special guest. Sarah Frier is technology reporter at Bloomberg and author of the great new book, No Filter, The Inside Story of Instagram, which is out now where all fine books are sold. Sarah joined us on Microsoft Teams earlier this week to look at how Instagram is changing in the age of pandemic. Let's take a listen.
Well, there's been an entire upheaval of our economy and our way of life, and that's reflected in Instagram maybe more than other places, because Instagram has really been the thing that has pushed us as a society to seek out experiences and to seek out visual experiences in particular. And now we're all home. So what do we have to take pictures of? And you see this urge that people still have to share their lives in a glossy manner, even in a time of crisis. I've seen a whole lot more cooking photos, baking photos on Instagram. I've seen a ton of live video. In fact, Facebook says that live video on Instagram is way up. That's where celebrities and music artists have been turning, but also where, you know, your personal trainers have been turning, and people who are artists and people who are hairstylists. They're trying to use Instagram live video to still connect with customers that they would otherwise see in person. So it's been a complete upheaval in how people use Instagram, and it's really affecting the part of our economy that has thrived under Instagram's growth. And so what I've seen happen with influencers, it's a lot more of, you know, here's how I'm coping and here's how I'm trying to get through this, but I want to hear from you, my followers, and see what you're doing and trade tips and try to keep tabs of each other's mental health. It's much more of an exchange than it is a direct sales relationship by necessity, because nobody wants to sell right now in a way that is blatant and maybe even irresponsible. I mean, you don't want to sell someone on a vacation right now. So I think we're going to start to see this change in how we behave on Instagram. Even our own friends who are experiencing things and posting about them in hopes that we take away some inspiration from their lives. It's not just the influencer economy. It's how we have learned to act and what we have learned to value.
Sarah Frier, author of the groundbreaking new book, No Filter, The Inside Story of Instagram. This book makes the top 5 for our Do You Even Read Bro? Essential business books for 2020. Check it out.
It's Disruptive FM
Communications,
the business culture podcast.
They say if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of today.
Hey, it's Disruptive FM, the culture of business. I'm Geoffrey Colon. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you're all hanging in there. Please reach out to us and let us know how you're doing. The Twitter and Instagram handles are @DisruptiveFM. And connect with me personally on Twitter or Instagram @DJGeoffe. A huge thank to our sponsor partners for their support. Microsoft Advertising, Intelligent Connections. Reminding you, when you broaden your view on trust, you build loyalty and create business value. Especially in these challenging times, a trusted relationship for the long term is paved with empathy, genuine service, and knowing your brand's purpose in the interconnected world. That's marketing with purpose. Learn more at aka.ms/marketingwithpurpose. And Branding Strategy Insider, serving over 50,000 senior level marketers, CMOs, and business decision makers every day. It's distributed by partners such as the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Google News, and Forbes. Branding Strategy Insider, the leading resource for thought leadership in brand strategy and brand management. They need to be on your radar. Check them out at brandingstrategyinsider.com. And thanks to Iographer. Iographer makes accessories that help you make professional level content with your smartphones. True story. A producer friend of mine just hit me up. He's quarantined now and has to produce videos from home for his work. He wanted to know the best ring light to get. I sent him to Iographer, and he got set up with everything. A ring light, tripod, and a microphone for his camera phone. If you're in a similar boat, you need to check them out at iographer.com. In the background, music from Afrodub. It's a track called Afro Ride from the Afro Cocktail 4 EP. Out now on Sound Exhibitions. Okay, once again, we're very pleased to feature one of our daily Insights with Microsoft segments. Insights is a daily short-form marketing brief you can subscribe to, spotlighting a lot of very interesting consumer data and search trends discovered by our crack research teams at Microsoft. And this one is very timely. Mother's Day this year is going virtual.
Insights with Microsoft. Marketing briefs at the intersection of ad technology and consumer behavior. Here's today's insight.
With Easter now behind us, we have a better idea of how major holidays will be different in the coronavirus era. Setting our sights now to Mother's Day, we'll look into the latest search data to help you understand how this year will look very different from last. At this point, it should come as no surprise that virtual will be the name of the game, especially for those looking to celebrate a special event with socially distant loved ones. We've seen search queries with the term virtual increased by 25-fold compared to this time last year. This includes everything from the more generic virtual cards to the more specific like virtual baby shower games. We've even seen significant volume for virtual weddings. We know that Mother's Day is going virtual this year, but how will that translate into consumer appreciation for mom? To answer this, let's look back at our data from 2019 and see who got the lion's share of the Mother's Day gift spend. In the U.S. alone, moms were showered in $5.2 billion worth of jewelry on their special day. Now that's a lot of love. Jewelry has followed closely by special outings like brunch or dinner, which, you guessed it, is going to change this year. As we're all keenly aware, most restaurants across America are closed to sit-down dining, and the likelihood of them opening by May 10th is questionable at best. This huge bucket of 2019 spend will likely get diverted to other tangible gifts like flowers, clothes, or more jewelry. Here are some important takeaways to keep in mind as you prepare for Mother's Day. The first thing to remember is that traffic begins to increase 30 days prior to Mother's Day. So if you haven't already started preparing, it's time to get a move on. We can't stress it enough. Think virtual. Include terms related to virtual offerings in both your keywords and ad copy strategy. Consider how the actual buying and gifting process will change this year as we shift to virtual. Use ad extensions and promotions to make it clear and easy for shoppers to do all their Mother's Day shopping from the comfort of their home. And lastly, call your mother.
You've been listening to the Insights Daily Voice Skill, presented by Microsoft Advertising. Tune in every day for more insights on this smart assistant platform, or subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify.
And don't forget to subscribe to Insights with Microsoft for your daily briefings on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Or activate by saying, Alexa, enable Insights with Microsoft. And then every day, just say, Alexa, play the news. For Google Smart Speaker users, simply say, OK, Google, play Insights with Microsoft. All right, here are a few more stories that we're following that you might want to take a closer look at. It's another installment of On the Radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
After the worst of the pandemic is behind us, workers will return to an office environment vastly different from what they knew before. To encourage social distancing, we may see a retreat from the closed quarters and hot desking or open office spaces. And there may be temperature checks and even limits to an elevator capacity. And perhaps most noticeable of all, we can expect fewer people at the office, now that many employers have adopted a work-from-home approach.
Number 2.
College students are waging war against universities, filing a wave of lawsuits against more than 50 schools demanding billions of dollars in refunds over canceled classes amid the pandemic. Some of the biggest names in higher education have been accused of breach of contract, including Columbia University, New York University, and the University of California system. Angry students claim online education isn't what they paid for, while schools battle circumstances outside their control. Meanwhile, the mounting suits threaten to slam the $600 billion plus a year higher education industry with an economic tsunami.
Number 3.
Despite some states trying to reopen, there's one giant roadblock to economic recovery they face. Schools are still largely closed, with millions of parents taking care of their kids in the absence of school, and in some cases, summer programs. Economists warn that the U.S. economy will be stuck in neutral until schools are back in session. And that's a wrap for another episode, number 67. Special thanks to Sarah Frier for joining us. Check out Sarah's book, No Filter, The Inside Story of Instagram. Next week, Dentsu X's Yuri Boykiv, he's the president of Dentsu X, joins us to talk about agency holding companies during COVID-19. That's going to be very fascinating. As always, Thank you for your time and attention. We would love for you to rate, review, and especially subscribe to the show. We're everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Once again, the socials, Twitter and Instagram, @DisruptiveFM. And check out cool content from our sponsors at MicrosoftAdvertising.ai, BrandingStrategyInsider.com, and iographer.com. Until next time, from everyone here at DFM, I'm Geoffrey Colon, reminding you, stay off the steps of state capitals and stay home. From our home to yours, be safe, and we'll catch you next week.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Geoffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.